I cannot believe that you can pay over $300 in non-refundable fees just to apply for an apartment.
I am nearly 27 years old, and today I am moving back in with my parents.
And this is the kitchen. Okay, I like this unit. How much did you say rent was? This unit is $5,000.
Have landlords lost their minds?
Living in America is freaking ridiculous right now.
So my rent here in Chicago is going to go up 9% if I decide to renew my lease for the following 12 months.
The number of millionaire millennials who are renting have tripled in the last 5 years.
The 2025 rent prices are skyrocketing, and TikTok is furious. From insane landlord demands to shocking price hikes, we're breaking down the rants you need to hear. Let's start with the first rant.
I am upset, okay? So I got home, got my mail, got my rent increase notice, going up to $2,500. A single dad with 3 kids, $2,500. What are you going to do with this money? You've done nothing in 10 years. The bathroom heater still doesn't work. I asked multiple times for better insulation in the walls because the electric bill's insane. There's still a tree waiting to fall and kill us all. Nothing has been done to this house in 10 years. And I can't paint the walls. I can't do any of the regular maintenance because that violates the lease. But you're not doing it. My original goal when I moved into this house 10 years ago at $1,495, that's now going to be $2,500, was to buy my own house and get out from under this landlord crap. Instead, I've paid the enormity of somebody else's mortgage. I paid that. And they've done nothing. All that they did was have the down payment and the credit rating. That's all they did. They signed the papers. I moved into the house immediately. They've done nothing. I can't keep doing this alone. And apparently I can't seem to find the right thing to do it with someone. What is the answer? Should we just start robbing banks at random to pay landlords? This is stupid. This is why people are angry at the system. My landlord is not even like some equity company. It's some lady who decided to move to Costa Rica because, she couldn't handle the fucking Republican government being Republicans, but she's so liberal, she squeezes her tenant every year. Squeezes. Fuck you.
I pay $585 for my 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in the state of Iowa, and I keep getting a lot of people assuming that it's low income. And no, these apartments are not low income. They are just regular apartments. I do not qualify for low income apartments or income restricted apartments because I make too much. And I also work a lot of overtime. Like this last pay period, I worked 126 hours. I was actually scheduled for 130. And I'm like almost $5 away from making $30 an hour right now, just my rate. And yeah. Just wanted to clear that up. I do not live in a low-income apartment, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm just saying, you guys, I just live in Iowa. That's why my rent is $585. And I've seen a lot more apartments that are less than my $585. So.
First up, at Klingon Bird Offsley is out here fuming about his rent going up to $2,500. Single dad with 3 kids, and his landlord's done nothing but cash checks for 10 years. The heater's broken, the walls are poorly insulated, and there's a tree waiting to fall and take them all out. He's paid someone else's mortgage while dreaming of buying his own house, but now he's like, should I just start robbing banks to pay rent? Honestly, mood. Landlords out here acting like they're doing us a favor by existing. Then there's at its just Briya, living her best life in Iowa with a one-bedroom apartment for $585. She's out here working 126 hours in a pay period, making almost $30 an hour, and people keep assuming she's in low-income housing. Nope, she's just living in Iowa where rent doesn't cost your soul. Meanwhile, the rest of us are out here paying $2,500 for a shoebox. Iowa, you're looking real good right now.
Attention landlords in Los Angeles, please do not increase the rent right now. I know a lot of people are very tempted by increasing the rent, but just a reminder that this is punishable by the law. You can actually go to jail and you can actually pay a lot of money. So please do not increase the rent.
Can we talk about how this rent is already trash with apartments? Okay, let's start there. Even with a one bedroom, like well over, like probably like $1,500. Rent is already trash, but they want to up the price each year. $50, even if it's like $50, and they try to make it seem like it's nothing. That's something, okay? That's something, especially on a monthly basis. Eggs is $10, okay? It's something in this economy, okay? People are living paycheck to paycheck. If you're not stinking rich, you're living paycheck to paycheck. So every little bit counts. So people are moving because of that. Because they want to find a place where they could be, have their head above water, okay? And because of that, we have no sense of community no more. Think about it. Like, for me, for example, I was at my apartment for a year, just a year, standard 12-month lease. The person my resident across from me, my neighbor, changed 3 times. No cap. 3 times.
First up, At Their Abuse is out here threatening Los Angeles landlords like she's the rent police. Don't you dare hike that rent. It's illegal, and I will send you to landlord jail. Honestly, if landlords listened, we'd all be living in affordable utopias instead of paying $2,500 for apartments with broken heaters. Someone get this woman a badge. Then there's at Sugar's Sweet Words, mourning the death of community thanks to rent hikes. She's like, I just want Ms. Mabel chain smoking with her cat and Charles cracking open a cold one on the balcony. But nope, neighbors change faster than TikTok trends. Rent increases are turning apartments into revolving doors, and now we're all just strangers surviving in shoeboxes. Remember when communities existed? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Millionaires are now renting. As the numbers increasingly show that renting is better than owning, more millionaires, even though they can afford their dream home, not because they need to, because they choose to. The number of millionaire millennials who are renting have tripled in the last 5 years. The wealthy know you live a better life off a $2 million portfolio than in a $2 million home. The poor and middle class have most of their wealth stuck in their primary residence. The rich don't dump all their money in a home and try and grind their way out. They put most of their money in stocks and business because they know that a primary residence will just be an anchor to. We might live in a home, but we live off an investment portfolio.
Why are they still charging $100, $150 or whatever it is to apply to live in a house or rent an apartment or whatever? I was just having this conversation with someone and it really hit me. I'm like, why? Where does that money go? You do not pay people who file your paperwork that much money. And just about everything is digital too. So what are you filing? Where does this money go? And then instead of having it where, like, if I say, hey, my credit isn't the best or something, do you think you can still approve me? They will not say most of the time yes or no. They'll say, well, your best option is just to put in an app. I know it's going to cost some money, but it's the best way we can help you. They grab the bag of money and run the fuck off with it and leave you declined with less money. Some people are on their last leg trying to apply for apartments, trying to get a roof over their head. And what do these places do? They take that last bit of money and tell you, well, there's nothing we can do for you. It is 2025, bro. There is no reason with everything online that you should be taking money from people just to rent a fucking place.
First up, at Jim Chuang is out here telling us millionaires are ditching home ownership to rent. Why? Because they'd rather live off a $2 million stock portfolio than a $2 million house. Rich people problems, am I right? Meanwhile, the rest of us are like, my portfolio is a $5 Starbucks gift card and a meme stock. But hey, At least we're financially literate now. Then there's At That Just Happened 12, calling out the absurdity of $150 rental application fees in 2025. Bro, where does that money even go? Are landlords using it to buy gold-plated paper clips for their digital paperwork? Just apply. It's the best way we can help you. Translation, give us your last $150 so we can ghost you. It's like paying for a dating app that only sends you rejection letters.
And this is the kitchen. Okay, I like this unit. How much did you say rent was? This unit is $5,000. Oh no, I'm renting, not buying. I know, it's $5,000 for rent, not including utilities. Does it come with a family or? If money is an issue, I can refer you to someone else. Nah, money's not an issue. You said it was $5,000? Yes. Yeah, that's, what's that, like 1,000, like 5 times or something? That's how numbers work, so yes. Yeah. So the deposit will be $3,500, including first and last month's rent, plus the application fee, which brings you to about $17,000. See, my real issue are these cabinets. Are these made of real wood? No, sir. See, there's a problem. I'm allergic to fake wood. Can't even touch it. I'm sorry to hear that. I can show you more expensive units if you... I'm parched. Do you have something to drink? Here you go. Thank you. So tell me more about the neighbors. Your closest neighbor is a lawyer. Very nice. And what do you do for work, sir? Oh, well, I've had some experience in the legal system myself. Oh, like a judge?
So my rent here in Chicago is going to go up 9% if I decide to renew my lease for the following 12 months. Currently, I have a lease that goes from June 1st to June 1st, and they already sent me the renewal lease, and I just have to decide by late March. So they sent it yesterday, and I didn't look through the whole contract because I didn't have time. And then I looked at the numbers today and I calculated them. Yeah, it was 9%, which is really high. I mean, not a lot of people are kind of making 9% more in their salary each year. I like this apartment. I like the location, but 9%, I'm going to have to just look at either Zillow or apartments.com just to see if there are any other better options.
Thew Sammy is out here touring a $5,000 a month apartment, allergic to fake wood cabinets, while the landlord casually drops a $17,000 deposit. Sir, if fake wood's the issue, wait till you meet your new neighbor, a lawyer who will sue you for breathing too loud. And let's not forget the landlord's audacity to offer a drink like it's a luxury hotel. Here's some water. Now give me your life savings. Meanwhile, Nick in Chicago gets slapped with a 9% rent hike and is like, do I look like I got a 9% raise? Bro, salaries move slower than a sloth on melatonin, and landlords out here acting like inflation is a personal achievement. Nick's over here debating whether to renew or Zillow surf for a life raft, but let's be real, every option feels like choosing between a rock and a hard place.
I'm honestly so upset. Living in America is freaking ridiculous right now. There are people choosing whether they want to have Christmas gifts or pay their rent, and that might not be different from any other year. $2 to $3 grand on average. You need to make 2 to 3 times that. $9,000 a month. How many people with regular bachelor degrees are even making that? No one. Not a lot of people. No one wants to live with roommates. That's not the answer. Everybody deserves a safe and clean space. There's no reason why so many people should be roommating, or you can't even buy yourself your own house. This is horrible.
Have landlords lost their minds? My roommate moved out a few months ago, so I currently live in a 2-bed, 2-bath by myself. And the price that I am paying for rent for a 2-bed, 2-bath with 2 parking spaces is the same amount of money I would be paying for a studio in Los Angeles, California. I feel like our whole perspective is warped because I hear people talking about, oh, I found a studio for $2,000. What a good deal. I just can't even process what is happening with rent costs in LA and also around the whole country. How is anybody affording rent? How?
At Life with Just is out here calling out America's rent versus Christmas gift dilemma. $9,000 a month to live alone? At this rate, Santa's workshop is looking like a viable housing option. She's right. No one with a regular bachelor's degree is making that kind of money, and roommates shouldn't be the only answer. Everyone deserves a safe, clean space. But landlords out here acting like they're renting out penthouses in the clouds. Meanwhile, at Wisney is living in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath for the price of a LA studio and asking, have landlords lost their minds? Yes. The answer is yes. She's out here flexing her space while everyone else is paying $2,000 for a shoebox with a view of a dumpster. How is anyone affording rent? Simple. They're not. They're just surviving on ramen and hope.
I'm being completely radicalized by the rental housing market right now. I cannot believe that you can pay over $300 in non-refundable fees just to apply for an apartment when background checks and credit checks take like $20 or something like that. And you have to have very recent pay stubs and proof of income and things like that. You could have $300,000 saved up, and if you haven't worked in the last month, you still can't get an apartment. The fact that you have to make like 3 times the rent, the base rent, in your monthly income. There are people all across the country who make only enough money that 80% of their monthly income goes to rent. They can't get an apartment. People can't get apartments. How is this the way that things work? It's so frustrating.
I am nearly 27 years old, and today I am moving back in with my parents. This is not the plan I had for 27-year-old me, but that is just how bad the rental crisis is at the moment. I've been living on my own for the last 3 years. When I first started living on my own, I was paying $280 a week in rent. It was actually kind of fine to pay rent on my own, and I've never had like an outstanding salary. The reason why I'm moving back in with my parents is because my landlord wanted to increase my rent now to $450 a week. Now, I live in a small 1-bedroom apartment in an old building. It's nothing flash. Sure, I live in a good suburb. I live in Malvern. I'm probably just paying for location, but I have to pay to do my laundry. There's cracks in the walls. Like, it's nothing flashy. Like, it's not worth $450 a week. That's like $2,000 a month. What are people supposed to do? I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful that I can move back in with my parents, but not everyone can do that. So what's your alternative? Like, you're homeless? The thing that really grinds my gears is that I am 99% sure that my landlord does not have a mortgage on this place, so that can't even be an excuse for landlords on here. She's owned this place since about 1980, and I know for a fact she has 2 investment properties. So she's just making money off what she can from the market. And I was like, there is no way I can afford this. And I have been an outstanding tenant, like outstanding. Rent's never been late. My inspections are always absolutely spotless. I've never caused any issues. And this is why my generation can't get ahead, why we can't buy houses. Like, I've been paying $20,000 a year in rent. But if I went to go get a house loan, they wouldn't see that as, oh, she can pay $20,000 a year. No, I have no savings because of how much I've been paying in rent and bills. That's why my parents were like, move home, save that money and try and get ahead. I'm so grateful. I love my family, and I don't have any issues moving back home with them. I do have an issue with the fact that they live over the other side of Geelong, and I'm still going to be traveling to Melbourne for work. So that's going to be so much fun. But what do people do? I'm so lucky I have such a great family that I can move back in with. But what's the alternative? Homelessness? Like, the government really needs to get on top of this, because honestly, the state of the rental market at the moment is absolutely fucked.
A Canucks is out here radicalized by 300 non-refundable application fees. Background checks cost $20. Bro, landlords are charging airdrop prices for PDFs, and don't even get him started on needing to make 3 times the rent. Meanwhile, 80% of people's income is already going to rent. At this rate, we'll all be living in tents with luxury views of the parking lot. Meanwhile, at Jamupsan MC Pike is moving back in with her parents at 27 after her rent jumped to $450 a week. My landlord's owned this place since 1980 and has 2 investment properties. Congrats. You're funding her Costa Rica retirement. She's lucky to have family to fall back on. But what's the alternative? Homelessness? The rental market's a dumpster fire, and we're all just trying not to get burned.
If you want cheap rent without getting a roommate, there's only 2 options available. So for your first option, if you want a cheap apartment, is you have to move to far, far away land. You have to move to a small ass town where everybody goes to Walmart for fun. There's nothing to do and you'll be bored as hell, but your rent will be $35 a month. Your second option, if you want cheap rent, is your roommate is probably going to be rats and roaches. Your car's going to get broken into. You're probably going to get shot. But at least your city's a lot of fun and there's a lot of things to do in your city. And this is why I think renting is such a very unfair concept. I have a friend who's paying $2,500 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Miami, Florida. Then I have another friend who's paying $800 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in a small town in South Carolina. Both apartments are pretty much the same size. The only difference is location. I think it should be illegal for rent to be over $2,000 a month. You could be paying $2,000 a month for your apartment and your next door neighbor, same model, same everything, could be paying $1,800 for the same model apartment as you. Or they could be paying more than you. When you renew your lease, it could go up by $9 or $900. And then you're paying $2,000 a month, but you will never own your apartment. You will never own it. I feel like rent should be like a fixed amount across the board. A 1-bedroom apartment anywhere in the United States should be like $800. A 2-bedroom apartment should be like $900. Life is unfair, but renting is 10 times unfairer.
If any of these open up in your area, your rent is going up, and you can't change my mind. First up, GYG or Fishbowl. Your landlord is licking their lips, and it's not because of the food. If your vet's waiting room goes from this to a day spa aesthetic, your rent review letter is around the corner. Your local cafe changes its menu to a letterboard, they're about to milk you and charge you extra for alternative milk. If reformer Pilates and recovery centers start popping up out of nowhere, it means you've got $100 a week extra to do some stretching, marinate in your own sweat, and jump in an ice bath for leisure. Rent naturally has to go up. Last but not least, Tesla electric car charging stations. Your rent, double. Bad drivers, triple. And they always get prime parking spots. Like, bro, chuck them in the back.
Aurora in Thesaiti breaks down the cheap rent dilemma. Either move to a small town where Walmart is the main attraction, or live in a fun city with roommates like rats and roaches. Bro, why is it a choice between boredom and dodging bullets? He's got a point, though. Rent is wildly unfair. His friend pays $2,500 in Miami for the same apartment another friend gets for $800 in South Carolina. Landlords out here charging location tax like they're selling beachfront property in the desert. Meanwhile, at Ted'sthetics is warning us about rent hikes disguised as trendy upgrades. Oh, your vet's office got a day spa makeover? Rent's going up. Pilates studios, fancy cafes, and Tesla charging stations are apparently the harbingers of financial doom. Bro, if I see a single avocado toast on a letterboard, I'm moving to the woods. Landlords are out here licking their lips like, how much can we charge for oat milk? Are you struggling with rent prices? Let us know in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the issues that matter. Until then, keep fighting. You've got this.